City eager to get their season going. It's been a turbulent week for them. But for the incident involving Ben Thatcher on Wednesday night, the game against Portsmouth would be eminently forgettable. And towards Paul Dickov, trying to escape from Johan Djourou. Dickov feeling that he was held back there by the Arsenal defender. You can see the arm across the shirt there. Henry's broken away here. Dunn's the covering defender. Van Persie's up in support. Henry might not need him. Oh, good save by Nicky Weaver. Good block by the City goalkeeper. Not all his memories of playing against Arsenal are happy ones. Nicky Weaver conceded 5 at Highbury in 2000, but he did his job well there. Good play by Sinclair. He's away from Hoyt. 3 blue shirts in the area. One of them's Barton. Fair chance there for Manchester City. Created by Trevor Sinclair, who got the better of Justin Hoyt, who was beaten by the flight of the ball. Barton in space. Lehmann was beaten, but so was the far post. Hoyt. Fàbregas. Arsenal settling into the game rather well here. Great chance for Thierry Henry. Lovely play by Arsenal. Manchester City's backline caught flat. And Richards on the near side was playing Thierry Henry onside. The feeling Manchester City could pay for that before too long. City's throw. The touch there from Sinclair to Dickov. That was neatly done to Sellerks. Karadi, good save by Lehmann. Karadi nearly had his first goal for Manchester City there. Lovely turn and cross. Fine header down. German international goalkeeper equal to it. Rosicky. Little flick from Henry there. Van Persie towards Rosicky. Distan the only player near him. Distan makes a challenge, but Rosicky still with a chance. Good block by Jordan to deny Gilberto Silva. Van Persie. Stuart Pearce is very unhappy on the touchline on the near side, and you can understand why. Arsenal with Henry. Plenty of yellow shirts forward. Rosicky. Momentum has gone from the move though. City now with time to get back in numbers. Claire. Van Persie! The frame of the goal still rattling now. Van Persie denied by the post. It was a neatly worked move, as so many of them are, and he was very unfortunate. Darboe looking for Karadi. Dickov through the centre. Sinclair on the near side, saying towards Trevor Sinclair. Oh, he took it well, he was challenged by Hoyt, and it's a penalty to Manchester City. Hoyt lunged in with his challenge. Sinclair looked as if he was bringing the ball down. Joey Barton with the chance to put Manchester City ahead here. And he takes it. City 1, Arsenal 0. He hit it hard, and it was a good job it wasn't a yard or two further back. off the underside of the crossbar. Manchester City's first goal of the season. Kolo Touré looking for Thierry Henry. Van Persie's the player going forward. Real determination from the Dutchman. Looks in vain at the referee, feels that he was fouled. And Persie racing through, felt that he was pushed over. That's why he was so cross with the referee. And Arsenal trying to get back level. Oh, so close, and Gilberto Silva puts it over the top. Kolo Touré with the initial header. Twice Arsenal have hit the woodwork in the opening half of this game. Sweeping ball there from Joey Barton. Fàbregas nudged off the ball by Barton. Clear grass in front of him. Dickov with a chance. One of the great characters of Manchester City's past, Malcolm Allison. Fàbregas, tireless worker, good, strong, powerful play in towards Van Persie, takes it in his stride and is a ball's width away from an equaliser. It is not his day today, not so far anyway. Good play by Fàbregas. Van Persie dragged the ball just wide. The seconds continue to tick. Manchester City edging closer towards what would be an unexpected victory, given their week and given their record against Arsenal. Adebayor, game's not over yet though, not by a long chalk. Here comes Theo Walcott, and Richards does really well. Terrific play by Micah Richards to deny Theo Walcott. Fàbregas with this corner. And Van Persie puts it wide. Can add that to his other efforts today. Lehmann just tries to get it as far forward as he can, as quickly as possible. Distance there once again. The added time is basically up now. Arsenal have run out of time, and for the first time since December 1991, Manchester City have a home victory over Arsenal. Arsenal beaten by Joey Barton's penalty. It's finished at the City of Manchester Stadium. Manchester City 1, Arsenal 0.
They don't lose many matches, full stop. I think we've done it as a collective, as a team, and I think if you're going to beat Arsenal, at times you've got to ride your luck a little bit. We did that today, but I think as a collective, I was absolutely, very, very proud of my side.
Arsenal, not what you had in mind today.
Well, we never have in mind to lose.
What about the way that the team performed? Do you feel that this was a match you should have won, given the way the game panned out?
Yes, there's a lot of positives in today's game. We have shown a great potential. We are not completely ready yet to finish things off, but overall I'm quite sad to say. I'm very disappointed, like the players, but I am as well full of hope for this team and of optimism, because there's a lot of potential in the side.
Are you expecting the FA to sort out the Ben Thatcher business before Manchester City's next match?
I think it needs to be sorted out sooner rather than later. From my point of view, our football clubs, and I think from Portsmouth's side of it as well, they would like to see a resolution. We'll meet with the board this week and decide what punishment we deem for Ben Thatcher. What I must say as well, I think Pedro Mendes has, over the last 2 days since the incident, has conducted himself like a true gentleman. And from my point of view, and my football clubs here, I would like to just send my regards out to him, because I think he's acted sensationally in this whole charade. And obviously, once again, I'd like to send my apologies on behalf of certainly myself, my football club, and Ben.
A refreshing attitude, well said, and a valiant effort from his team today, Alan.
Oh, they worked ever so hard for each other after an unbelievably tough week for them. They've played both Arsenal and Chelsea now. They got dumped at Chelsea last week, and of course all the shenanigans that went on in midweek. It's been a very, very tough week for them, but a great end to it. But it was it was just one of those days for Arsenal. I mean, the chances they had were just incredible.
There's a rearguard action from City, and Arsenal missed a few, didn't
They would. I mean, we're going to have a look at some chances there. We got 5 or 6 chances, and I'm sitting watching the game, thinking, if they give Thierry Henry another one, he's going to punish them. But this is his first one here, where he gets a little bit of luck to get in the end. The ricochet off Richard Dunn's legs, but he's in there, and it's a good save off Nicky Weaver. And again, he's in. And I mean, how many times have we seen Thierry Henry stick these chances in? A mistake off Distan, lets him in again. Weaver save again with his legs. This time it's Van Persie with a shot, and you just start to get the feeling. Another one through Fàbregas and Van Persie. And that's what Arsene Wenger thinks are all, isn't it? It's been a depressing day, but listening to his interview, he says the words that Arsenal, not ready, potential. I mean, he'll never admit it, but I mean, their words to say, well, maybe we might just not be on the mark this season, and we might have to wait another season, because they have got a lot of young players in their side, Arsenal. Yeah,
it's 8 points behind Manchester United already. It's like a plea for patience, really, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, and he is right. I mean, they have got some great young players in the side, but sometimes with young players, you're going to get frustrating days.
Okay.
News in the back of the Daily Express, for West Ham fans at least, is that they've signed to happen in this window.
No, thank goodness it has, though. I mean, this was a saga that started, you know, in January of 2005, when Ashley Cole first met Chelsea. And it's just gone on, and it's just really a relief that it's over. I mean, that's probably one good thing about the transfer window. We won't hear any more about Ashley Cole going to Chelsea.
Well, I mean, it is unconfirmed at the moment, but Ashley Cole, we understand they both had their medicals.
Both had their medicals.
William Gallas has left the French squad, so really, it's a done deal.
Yeah, I think it's a done deal. Basically, what we'll find out tomorrow, or maybe later even, is the exact details of the transfer, i.e. how much cash are Arsenal going to get, plus Gallas. I mean, that'll be interesting to find out if it is 5 million, like the newspapers claiming there, whether or not that's the price, and if that's a good deal for Arsenal. Because it actually looks like a good deal for both parties.
Well, I mean, what I was going to say, is there anyone better off, or is it a good deal for both?
No, I think for both, John, to be fair, because William Gallas has been unhappy in the last year there. Ashley Cole, as Andy says, since the business, when he first got in touch with Chelsea, not him personally, but other people, they've both been unhappy doing what they're doing. And 2 tremendous players.
Yeah, and no one loses face, because Arsenal get Gallas and they get Cole.
Sure, and assuming Gael Clichy gets fit, you would think that actually they're both positions that one club's need is, you know, greater than the other, if you see what I mean. In the Chelsea need a second left-back. Arsenal, who've sold Pascal Sigan to Villarreal
and also with Sol Campbell leaving,
Sol Campbell gone as well, they need an experienced centre-half, and Gallas prefers to play centre-half, is an outstanding athlete at centre-half, and he'll complement Toure well, and Wenger will probably feel that he has got cover at left-back. I'm not so sure, but he thinks that Clichy is a successor to Cole, so he's happy, and Chelsea are happy. It's just a shame they could have got this done earlier.
Yeah. Well, if you have a look at some of the transfers that happened today, obviously there's the Cole and Gallas and Tevez and Mascherano, which we'll come on to in a minute. But the one which all of us also looked like it wasn't going to happen is Baptista and Reyes, because it seemed as if that wasn't going to happen. But once again, you know, win-win situation for Real Madrid, who wanted Reyes, and also Arsenal, who've been tracking Baptista for quite a while. And you were involved in that Baptista deal.
Slightly, in a way. I mean, I do some work for the government as far as visas are concerned, and that was one that came up today, that Baptista, you know, to get a visa to come in the country, was he going to enhance the Premiership?
Well, he didn't have enough. You have to play 75% of international matches in the last 2 years, in the last year,
in the last 3 years.
In the last 3 years, which he didn't meet that criteria.
No, he didn't reach that criteria.
So you have to decide whether you think he's good enough.
When you're there, there'll be 6 of us on the board, and we would have to decide. And nobody knows who voted yes, nobody knows who voted no. So it's all a secret ballot, which is passed ahead, and it takes place.
Anyone got the elbow today?
Not that I can think of. I mean, there was one for Fulham, but I wasn't involved in that.
You're too nice. You just let anybody
circumstances.
in. You let anybody
in. I think he will be a good player for Arsenal. You know, when I look at him, he's a big, powerful man. He can, you know, hold his own in midfield, and I think Arsenal are short of that. They can get knocked about a bit in the middle of the park, and I think Baptista will be a good player for them.
Well.
29th, 2006 was another very happy day for West London's footballing glitterati. Among the Chelsea heroes was French international William Gallas. His status at the club is rather different now. 5 months on, and those heady champagne moments are a springtime blur, forgotten in a sea of acrimony.
Oh, it's Gallas! It's William Gallas who got the second header!
Gallas scored the goal against Manchester United that secured the Blues their second successive Premiership title. All the smiles have long gone, swamped by a spat of Downing Street proportions. Earlier this week, Chelsea issued a remarkable statement alleging that Gallas had threatened his own brand of industrial action. The club suggested that the Frenchman had said he'd either score an own goal, make deliberate mistakes, or even get himself sent off if selected for Chelsea's first game of the season. Understandably, Gallas has countered, claiming shock and surprise at his former employer's suggestions. He's also received full backing from French national coach Raymond Domenech. Domenech is quoted as saying that he couldn't even imagine Gallas would betray his team. Unsurprisingly, his new boss has given him full support too. Arsène Wenger was also generous about Ashley Cole, who's traded places with Gallas in the most talked about move of the summer.
You judge both performances of Ashley Cole and of William Gallas on what they have achieved, and not on any speculation with what might have happened if they had stayed at the club. I can only say that looking at it, Ashley Cole has done great services to our club, and we are thankful for that, and we wish him very, very well, because he was a world-class player here, and he will certainly be at Chelsea. And Gallas has done exactly the same for Chelsea, and every time I've seen him, he has been absolutely top class.
The claims and counterclaims of who said what have rather deflected attention away from Cole's transfer. The player who should make his Chelsea debut against Charlton today was diplomatic when explaining why he wanted to leave Arsenal.
It was nothing about what Arsenal didn't have, it was just what I wanted in my life, and so I just wanted to move to better me as a person and hopefully better my football. But Arsenal have everything going for them. We've got great young players, and so I've never had anything wrong with the players. I've had great times there, and of course I'm going to miss them, but so I don't really want to look back on my life too much.
The England defender's respite may only be temporary, though. His controversial autobiography will be in the shops in less than 2 weeks. Arsenal fans will no doubt be keen to hear his side of the story.
It's not been a great week for Chelsea or for William Gallas. Well, let's go live to Steve Wilson, who's at Stamford Bridge. Well, at the Emirates Stadium waiting to talk to us is John Motson. Let's start with you, Steve. Why did Chelsea feel the need to release this statement?
Well, it's an extraordinary statement, Manish, isn't it? Not only did they feel the need to release it on Monday night, they felt the need to repeat it in full in today's match programme for the Charlton game. Chelsea's point of view is that William Gallas let them down. I have to say that my take on this is that Chelsea might have scored an own goal, let alone William Gallas, because the player has spoken about the possibility of legal action. It would be very difficult, I would imagine, for Chelsea to prove that Gallas said any of those things. And you have to remember that Gallas was a hugely popular member of this Chelsea Championship winning side. Of players in this squad, only John Terry and Carlo Cudicini and Frank Lampard had been at the club longer. Gallas actually signed the day after Frank Lampard 5 years ago, and the contrast between Arsène Wenger's parting wishes for Ashley Cole and Chelsea's parting wishes for William Gallas could scarcely be more scarce, more stark, Manish.
Sure. Well, of course, Gallas has now gone to Arsenal. Motti, is he in line to make his debut today?
Yes, my understanding is that he will play Manish. I think he will play at left back, which was a position, of course, that he didn't particularly like at Chelsea at one point, because the natural successor to Ashley Cole, Gail Clichy, is injured. And incidentally, Gallas will wear the number 10 shirt in the Arsenal squad numbering. Several supporters went to the Arsenal shop yesterday and bought a Gallas shirt with number 3 on the back. He's chosen not to wear 3, he'll wear 10, so it won't be the same number as Cole had. But the Arsenal club have said this morning, if you bought your Gallas number 3 shirt from an Arsenal retail outlet, they will give you your money back, or you can swap it for a number 10.
Well, that's kind of them, Motti. I should think both parties are relieved the whole saga is now over. Is that it for now, Steve?
I wouldn't have thought so, Manish, because anybody who's read the newspapers this morning will see that the serialisation of Ashley Cole's book, which was delayed to add an extra chapter involving this long protracted transfer, that serialisation has started. It will continue into the early part of next week. The book itself is published, I believe, the week after that. It's very, very unlikely that this row is going to go away, at least for a couple of weeks.
Sure. Mossy, as far as Arsenal fans are concerned, I should think Gallas isn't the only new face they'll be looking forward to seeing in action.
No, indeed not. In fact, there are one or two sideshows and subplots here today that may take some of the attention away from William Gallas. Julio Baptista, who's on loan from Real Madrid after Reyes went the other way, he's in the squad. I rather think he'll start on the bench today for Arsenal. And in the Middlesbrough side, let's not forget Middlesbrough, because like Arsenal, they got to a European final last season, didn't they? They're the visitors here today. Jonathan Woodgate, also, of course, on loan from Real Madrid. He makes his debut at the heart of their defence. And I also think we'll see Jason Ewell, who was recently signed from Charlton. So on a glorious sunny day in this wonderful new stadium, we've got a lot to look forward to.
Brilliant. Motti at Arsenal, Steve at Chelsea. Thank you both very much indeed. So this interesting thing about Chelsea reissuing the statement in today's programme, have they let themselves down here?
Oh, I just think as a football club you should be above that. I mean, they are in an absolutely fantastic position with the millions from Roman Abramovich. They've got some outstanding players. They just won the Premiership 2 years running. I think whatever they think about William Gallas, keep it private. I mean, basically both clubs have got what they want, you know. Obviously Ashley Cole's gone to Chelsea, which they've always wanted him, as you know, the so-called tapping up incident.
Yeah.
Gallas has now got his move. He didn't want to sign another contract. But if you really compare the way that Arsenal have behaved and the way that Chelsea have behaved, you'd have to go down the Arsenal model, which is, you know, Ashley, thanks very much, good luck to you, whatever they think privately. And I think Ashley Cole's eluding himself a little bit, because, you know, this book that's coming out, we know what the Arsenal supporters make of him. It's a tin hat job in for the London for the next 6 months, I'm afraid.
And I think one thing I would just say about Gallas is that I think the relationship with Chelsea broke down a while ago. He did threaten that he wasn't going to be playing time and time again. I think Jose stood by him on that. If he doesn't come out and say anything, he had a snipe at the manager and the club the week before. Obviously, that leaves him open to a reply from the club. Now, whether the club come out and say something or not, that's up to them.
OK, well, let's look ahead to Champions League action, of course, for Chelsea and Arsenal this coming week. I suppose that the tie of this round has got to be at Old Trafford.
Yeah, with for Celtic on the Wednesday, which will be, in terms of atmosphere, will be absolutely fantastic. To be honest with you, Manish, I think all those teams, all the four English, and including Celtic for me, can all qualify. And you know, everyone's gone about Chelsea and Barcelona. Well, they'll come out of that group, won't they? So it's just a matter of the balance for, you know, these Premiership managers have had their players away for 12 days. There's big games today, new signings, and then they go through to the Champions League. But it will all settle down, and I think all will qualify.
And it's UEFA.
Not quite sure. Maybe they wanted the fans to know what kind of person William Gallas was, and
maybe they wanted to destroy his character.
Maybe they wanted to make sure that.
Well, why would it have anything to do with them? You know, what does it do with the fans? If Gallas is no longer their player, you know, so what does it matter to the fans what sort of bloke he is?
I think it gives Chelsea a reason to have got rid of him, because he's a very good footballer, very good defender, and maybe some Chelsea fans would have been disappointed to see him leave. If they see what kind of person it is, then that probably would be quelled somewhat, and I think that's the reason why they made the statement.
I actually think that Chelsea don't like being dictated to in any way, and Gallas had made his mind up, he wanted a move, and he was going to, you know, drive his situation forward his way. Maybe not the proper way, but, you know, he got his move in the end, and Chelsea don't like that, so I thought to get him back, they've come out with that, and I think it's a bit petty.
This is Chelsea. This is Chelsea still learning to be a big club, because big clubs don't come out. Nearly at every club, when there's a transfer, one of these big high-profile transfers, there's always something going on behind the scenes. Players always say things, clubs say things or whatever. When they've moved on, clubs, they don't come out and start chin-wagging and saying things to back themselves up or anything. It very seldom happens. This should have been left. It had gone on too long, and this is why Chelsea should. It is a big own goal by Chelsea, if you want, because it was just ridiculous. Once he'd gone, they should have said, right, he doesn't want to play for us anymore. That's the end of it. And we're bigger than the player. We'll now just get on with ourselves. To come out and just be like that, totally lack class.
So you're saying that Chelsea are not a big club?
No, I'm saying they're learning.
No, that's what you said. They're learning to be a big club.
They are still learning.
Would you suggest they're not a big club in your eyes?
No, they are becoming a big club. They want respect.
Becoming a big club, so they're not a big club in your view?
Jeffrey, they keep saying they want respect.
The champions of the past 2 seasons.
They have been champions in the past 2 seasons, and they're climbing the ladder, and they've still not arrived at the top in the way that all the big clubs like Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool have always done it. These are little reasons which Chelsea sort of just drop a little bit, and they must understand that that wasn't good, that wasn't right, the way they went about doing things.
And it didn't help Jose Mourinho to be left in that position, you know.
But surely he's had an input, though, hasn't he, Charlie? Surely a statement like that would not have been made without the manager knowing.
Well, I'm not convinced in that. I think there's sometimes Jose, he's definitely his own man.
So they're not a big club who do things without their manager knowing.
I never said they weren't a big club. They are a big club as far as I'm concerned.
I think he's got more things to worry about than the club website, hasn't he?
You've been in a caravan this week. You seem to be passing the buck everywhere.
Has it been rocking a bit?
You've been just rocking. Yeah,
we were upgraded to
upgraded to a caravan. Your life's fairly moving on, isn't
it?
You're nearly as big as Chelsea now. The way that Wenger spoke about Cole yesterday, with compliments, the way that Manchester United handled Van Nistelrooy, put him into the background, let the summer, let it settle, sold, deal done, move on. You know, for the manager, and what I took yesterday, what he was saying was, I don't want to speak about players who have left now. He didn't do that about Crespo, and I don't think he's done that about very many players, good Johnson. But he's put in that position that guys have the right to ask that opinion. And I don't think he was aware that that was being released. I may be wrong, but I'd be surprised if he was.
Is it possible that William Gallas has actually said something like, you know, I'm going to score an own goal, in a sort of fit of pique, if you like, Paul, you know, maybe in the midst of a heated argument? Is it the sort of thing that he could have said?
I can imagine maybe, you know, when he's at the end of his tether, maybe saying that he wouldn't play. I don't know about scoring an own goal, you know, because he was trying to force the hand, wasn't he? He wanted to move, he wanted to get on, you know, but I can't imagine he ever said he was going to score an own goal. You know, you got to be much bigger than that, and he is.
Don't work anyway. I mean, Franny Benali was trying to get away from Southampton for years. Putting out of own goals he scored. Never worked.
A bit of frustration. He might have said something like, "I'm not going to turn out for you, and I won't play well," or he may have done. You don't know how immature people can be when they're upset.
The players. All the players do that in the background, and yeah, he might have said it to one or two of the players. Maybe the players have gone to Jose after it and said, this is what, to back it up. It was like Robbie Fowler apparently coming off the pitch at Sheffield United and saying, oh, it was never a penalty or something like that. Robbie Fowler never said anything of the sort. It happens, and players like to chinwag to help themselves and get themselves out of it. Maybe one or two of them have said these things, but to actually come out in the press, they should have just let it go. As Jose said there, is I don't want to talk about former players. Well, why did they do it in the first place? Why did they put out something?
I mean, do you think Gallas has had a point in a sense, Matt? I mean, maybe, you know, he hasn't carried out, you know, he hasn't acted in the correct way, possibly. But, you know, was he undervalued by Chelsea when you read about the sort of salary that he was on in comparison to some of the other players? Yet Thierry Henry this week has called him the best centre-half in the world.
From that point of view, he probably was, because he is a fantastic defender. But it's very difficult when you're in the change room. When I was playing at Southampton, nobody ever spoke about player salaries. You didn't know what the bloke sat next to you was on. So how does William Gallas know that he was being undervalued?
I mean, so you don't know, for instance, that Phil Thompson earns more than you for a Saturday afternoon?
No, I don't know.
But obviously, you know, figures have been bandied around in the press.
He'll become when you come back.
The discrepancy between what Gallas was earning and some of the new players was earning appears to have been huge.
Yeah, it does appear to have been huge, and he's probably got a point. But there's a better way of going about things, Jeff, than the way he's done it. It's been toys out of the pram.
This is the start of the Ashley Cole scenario, which I suppose we're going to move on to eventually. But that was really about, oh, I don't think they're paying me any respect. I come through the ranks at Arsenal. I want more money. It happens everywhere. I think they were paying him enough, William Gallas, Chelsea. But the way that Chelsea do their business meant that he had the right, as one of the best centre-halves, in my opinion, in the business. Not the best, but one of the best. He had the right to go and say, I'm playing as well as Lampard, I'm playing as well as Terry. I want something in the same respect as them. And Chelsea then said, no, you're not at that level as far as we're concerned. Plus, we don't want to play you centre-half, we want to play you left-back, right-back. All those things together meant you had an unhappy player if you wanted out.
A lot of the players who were there before Jose came in, and obviously they started throwing all the money at it. Roman came in and started big bucks. Gallas was there before that. So he's been there as one of the best centre-backs in the world. And he's seen them as though all these players have come in, been given massive salaries, Gallas is still there, but he's seen John Terry and Frank Lampard supposedly jump from there to go up to here. Now he'll be saying, hey, hold on a minute, I play for France, who are European champions, world champions, whatever. Why am I not being duly getting the money that they are? The same thing will be with Ashley.
Then Chelsea come right in at the death when Arsenal have made the offer for Gallas, and then say, right, we're prepared to maybe up your offer. You know, so they wanted to keep the player, and suddenly this mess has happened and they're trying to say that this was a bad apple. I mean, this lad can play. It's a big signing for Arsenal.
Yeah, and you know, have they scored an own goal in playing terms, Paul, in the sense that now they look a bit short of cover, don't they, in terms of central defence?
Well, I think they've got enough cover, but I still feel that...
Well, there's John Terry, there's John Terry and Carvalho, effectively, isn't there, you know?
Yeah. Is it Boularus?
Boularus can maybe go in there.
Yeah, well, he can go in there. I think they've got enough players to cope, really. But yeah, I mean, the situation had to be resolved, didn't it? That was the problem. And it's no good having that player there, unhappy in the background, and you believe that John Terry was having chats with him and trying to bring him round. And, you know, but when a player's not having it, Jeff, he's not having it. And if he wants away, I think you've got to try and sort the situation out. And it went right to the wire, didn't it? And in the end, they got it sorted. And I think, you know, in time it'll all calm down. But, you know, who's had the best deal out of it, it's difficult to say. I think it's a good deal for both sets of clubs.
I think there was never any coming back, was there? With Gallas, with everything that had been said and everything, even if the players tried to do it, I think the way it had been handled, him not coming back for pre-season training on time, which he was wrong to do that. You know, you look at Van Nistelrooy when we were saying, after all what went on there, he came back and was there first day and everything, made sure he was doing things right. Gallas didn't do that, and I think it was time to move on for Chelsea. I don't think there was ever any going back.
I mean, of course, the other element to all of this has been Ashley Cole, Matt, you know, who says that, you know, he hasn't moved to Stamford Bridge for the money. He's gone to win things. Well, Arsenal were Champions League finalists last season, weren't they? You know, and champions in 2004 and 2002 and FA Cup winners. And what do you make of that statement?
That's probably one of the most ridiculous statements I've ever heard, to be honest with you, Jeff. You know, it does frustrate me sometimes. Footballers, just sometimes, they'd get a lot more respect from people if they came out and just held their hands up and said, look, I'm going to get paid a lot more going to Chelsea than I'm at Arsenal. So, you know, that's why I'm moving. I think it's a ridiculous statement. And why has he done it? It's stupid. I look
forward to the book if this is the type of comments he's going to be making.
Why has he written a book, Charlie?
No, I don't. Money.
I can't need the money.
The money they get for
he's not in it for the money.
Significance.
I mean, you did a book, didn't you? You did a book recently.
Yeah.
And you get paid.
Why'd you do it?
Yeah.
Well, I did it for the love of it, and you know,
so you didn't get paid
to give my joy that I have in the game, you know, to share it with other people.
Did you do it for free?
To help you, to give you the stats and things like that.
Yeah.
To make the book a bit, give it a bit of
But why, you know, in his position, seriously, Charlie, hasn't he been ill-advised to write a book?
Totally. There's nothing but money that tells me that the reason he's done this. What I think Ashley seems to miss this point is he started it all off with his agent. You know, they were sitting in the restaurant. You know, this was all started by them. What did Arsenal do? Arsenal took a word with him and said, what are you doing? Arsene Wenger said, what are you doing, Ashley? You're not putting yourself in that position. And then he has 2 court cases which he loses, which cost him a lot of money. So what does he think? I better get that money back. So I'll do a book, and I'll do a book about Arsenal. Yet 6 months before that, Jeff, though, he was a true Arsenal man. He was through the system, didn't want to leave, was very happy, was probably the best left back in the world, and probably still is.
And he's been wonderful for Arsenal.
Absolutely.
Absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely. They've been fantastic for each other. And he deserves respect in terms of the way that his games came forward. But as we've all been players, Jeff, if you fall out with your manager or teammates, then it can be difficult for you. But if you're having a go with some directors because of something personal, and the issue is because he had to go to court, he thought he was hung out to dry, well, who caused that problem?
Would he have stayed if Arsenal had come up with the £60,000 a week that he wanted?
He would have to, because that's the difference with Wenger. When Wenger.
So why didn't they? Why did they offer him 55,000 and not 60,000? Isn't that petty from the club?
Because the way that I think Ashley behaved, and I think these fallout with people like David Dean and others, that gave the manager Arsene Wenger an issue. The issue was that Ashley then says, I want a transfer. And Arsene Wenger says, you will get your transfer. And he held him. And he said yesterday in the presser, didn't he? And when it came to the last minute, I was always prepared, because I said to him, I would let you go and he stood to his word with that, and I think it was the right thing for the club to get him out.
I just think the book, Jeff, is going to be one of those things that's going to haunt him all season, because it's going to be serialised, sensationalised, and it's just going to be hanging about for ages, isn't it? And it's just going to the little bits are just going to keep getting mentioned, and I think he'll wish he hadn't have done it in the end.
And in all fairness, Jeff, it's a bit of a struggle. 55 grand a week, you can't live off that, honestly.
Not after tax.
I tell you what it does mean, you just wonder what the mood is going to be like when Arsenal, with William Gallas in their side, played Chelsea with Ashley Cole in their side. It's a match which must not be missed. Of course,
losing a Champions League final. How long did it take you?
Well, it had to be quick to go out of your mind quickly, because we had the World Cup, and you know, I had to try to take a place in the game, the first 11, and it was tough because I had to share a room and the eat when we went to eat with all the players from Barcelona, so you know, they were always joking now, but they are really nice guys.
He impressed at the World Cup and started this season with a bang.
The day before I was feeling so tired I couldn't even move, so I don't know what happened really in that game.
But one defeat and one draw in the league isn't the start to the Premiership campaign Arsenal are used to.
It is disappointing because we are Arsenal, we are used to win, and we all know what happened last year. We lost a few games at the beginning of the season, and then at the end we finished really well, but then we needed the points. We lost at the beginning, so I'm sure we have to get this kind of points at the beginning, because at the end you will need them.
On another day they'd have scored a hatful against Man City, but they still get accused of trying to walk it into the net.
We've got a lot of technical players, and we all love the beautiful football that we say, and we try. It is true that sometimes we try to get into the net with the ball on your feet, so that's not possible. And sometimes it's true that you have to shoot from some distance, and you don't know what's going to happen. You have to try.
In years gone by, it was Vieira. This summer, it was Cole. Arsenal always seem to be at the centre of the summer's biggest transfer speculation. You've lost Ashley Cole and Reyes. Is that a big loss for the club?
It is, because they are two very good left-footed players, and right now we don't really have a left-footed player. So for me, they're important. It's an important loss. You know, Ashley Cole, he has been a lot of time in this club. He has had a lot of things to it. And Reyes, you know, I have always thought that he's been a very good player, and you know, but his decision was going to Real Madrid, and you have to accept that. You know, if he's happy, he has to look for himself, of course, and Ashley as well.
Has the squad got maybe a good balance about it now?
Well, yeah, I agree, because it is true that maybe we were a bit short. The squad was a bit short, and now we have to be very happy for what we've got, because Gallas can play every position at the back. Baptista can play, well, he likes to play a striker, but he can play midfield as well if we need.
You were linked with Real Madrid. Was there ever any danger of you going?
No. I have always been happy. I think I've shown everyone that I'm really happy here. It is true that they were interested, but no, nothing to say. I've been really happy. There's no better place to be for me right now.
But on Wednesday, he had a disappointing night in Belfast.
We cannot let them score the kind of goals they scored, and it was like I don't know, 10 years old, could have done better in the 3 goals.
He's not 20 until next May. He's already played over 100 games for the club, and now he's fast establishing himself in the Spanish national side. A lot will hinge on the wise head on those teenage shoulders.
And refreshingly, he's got that fantastic common sense approach, hasn't he? So he's been an absolutely terrific find as far as Arsenal are concerned.